Whereas before I used to have pains in my elbow, or my hands are very stiff. As long as I'm drinking solar water, they're much more flexible. So divinity is willing to do its job. That the job being it's willing to erase information, but it cannot do it without an appeal. Otherwise, it's an intrusion into our choice. And so, on the blue solar water, you can not only drink it, you can bathe in it, you can shower, you can wash clothes in it. Our clothes love the blue solar water. And then once it gets into the blue solar water, then it becomes a cleaning process. So the idea is to be 100% responsible, moment to moment, and it's retraining, re-educating the inner child to do it. Yeah.
When we do thank you, I love you, the eyes blue, you actually have to be conscious, in order to let go, to choose the cleaning. So because we know that we are so addicted, to thinking, blaming, manipulating, controlling, at least, the things that we can do physically, like drinking the solar water, are so important because they will be working even when we forget, to take 100% responsibility and say thank you, or, when we forget to clean. So it's very, very important, to drink the solar water.
One of the things I think I heard Dr. Lynn say a second ago was that we still have to ask. We still have to make the petition.
Yeah.
So, because that's, I hear so many people say, well, if it's inshallah, if it's God's will.
Yeah.
And some I know seem to think that, God was looking down or out or whatever and saying, okay, I'm going to bestow this on that one and this on that one and this on that one. And, I'm in the conversations like, not unless they asked. It doesn't happen by magic. Otherwise, as you said, that would be an interruption of free will.
Yeah, it's an invasion. Not so much free will is an invasion of choice. So we have a choice to hold on or to let go of the memories replaying suffering. We have that choice. And the choice we make is simply saying to divinity, I'm responsible, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And you make that appeal by either drinking solar water, I love you, and thank you. And you're making an appeal, you're saying to divinity, there's something going on in me. I've created, accepted, and accumulated these errors, but there's so many of them. I don't know what errors they are, but the subconscious knows, and and I would like to ask you to erase them. So the Ho'oponopono is about really festing up and saying, I'm responsible, I'm willing to be responsible, and the beauty of the Ho'oponopono is really God is love, and I cannot imagine that when you make an appeal that love would not respond. I cannot imagine that. Yeah.
See, for me, in my life, letting go and not, asking or making a list or requesting, it made me attract it. It made me attract in my life, I don't know, a lot of things that I would have never asked for. So when we said you are going to attract whatever is right and perfect for you, you don't know what that is. But be ready to be surprised because it is amazing what God will give you when you don't ask specifically, and when you are open to receive and you are willing to take 100% responsibility.
You have to realize, too, that like in the Buddhist tradition, the light is always on. So divinity's light is always on. Divinity is never on vacation where the light is not always. And the light, I'm defining the light, what Buddha called enlightenment, as perfect information for living. And so the Ho'oponopono allows the darkness, which is the memory replaying, allows it to be lifted, and then the light can come through. And the light is always, it's like Jesus said, seek ye first the kingdom. You got to seek the kingdom, which is a pure heart. Then everything else gets added. It's the way the universe works. You got to let go of the dark side, which is just simply memories replaying. Once you let it go, you don't have to want anything. You don't have to have, like Mabel said, you don't have to have a list of stuff. Divinity already knows before you ask what is right and perfect for you. You just got to get rid of that responsible, yeah.
So what about using the liturgy? I personally like it. That's really what, shortly after I've read, everything that was in there, my folks were here, and we had this incident. We were doing some work. My family are do-it-yourselfers, different type of contracting things. And my mom and my mother and father, and I, we got into this thing because Mom wanted it to do a particular way, and my dad and I were like, well, that may not work. So rather than continue it, I just came upstairs, and I had seen that liturgy, and I was like, okay, let me do this. And in my mind, I was, well, why are you doing this on your own mother? Using your mother's name, because she's part of your same family. I said, I don't care. This is what's coming to me to do. Let me just plop my name in there and my mother's name in there. And I said that a couple of times, and that next morning I went downstairs, and my mother said, okay, let's talk about this before we begin doing any work today. My mouth fell open. That is not my mother's way. My mother's way is, okay, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, and don't ask me anything about it. So that's when I was like, whatever this is, this works.
Well, mothers have been around for God knows how long. So
that's true.
They must know something we don't know.
She does know something, but she doesn't know everything.
Yeah, even though they have to drag us along, and sometimes, but again, the idea is to give up. Okay. In other words, the Ho'oponopono is about saying, I'm just going to give up whatever's going on in me that I experience as my mother. I'm going to give it up. And when you give it up, you see your mother, you experience your mother in a very different way.
Yes,
and your mother may agree. She may come up with something. You go, wow, I didn't think about that. But something wonderful is going to happen. And the idea is that you get to, when you're willing to let go, you get to see people as angels. You get to see them with the eye of God. You go, wow, this is awesome, yeah.
And then you realize, like Aliakala always says, that it was just you, and your thoughts. No mother, no problems. It was just you and your thoughts.
It was me and my thoughts and myself and my taste
and
my
your family
memories.
And women and the relationship with men and it all boils down to memories in the subconscious. And if we're willing to give it up, then we get to see anew with godly eyes. We go, wow. We get, wow. And then more stuff comes up, and you go, oh, it's just my stuff. I'm just going to get to the cleaning. I love you. Thank you for whatever is in me that's going on that I'm experiencing, anger, resentment, annoyance, irritation. But the idea is you have to do it, number one, ceaselessly. And then better, it's like when I worked at the hospital years and years ago, better to do your cleaning before, during, and after you leave a situation. You don't want to get into a situation without having first cleaned, and you don't want to leave it without having secondly or thirdly cleaned, because the cleaning is what clears the field. And so when everybody leaves with peace in their heart. Yeah?
That is so great. I just want to ask this one question, and then I would like to open up the lines and have people ask questions, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
Okay, great. So my question, I heard this on the tape and or a CD or something, and so if you don't want to divulge it, that's okay. But it had to do with money, and there was a specific technique because that's an issue. I'm not going to say it's not an issue in my life, but I really liked what I heard about how we had been abusing money, and money was like women, and if we, yes.
Yeah. So the idea is to really get friendly. So we notice that when we're friendly and gracious with people, they get friendly and gracious with us. And so this is true of anything. So we need to get friendly and gracious with money. And we need to say to ourselves, okay, then this is the cleaning. Whatever is going on in me, memories of being abusive to money, abusive to the land, abusive to people, abusive to anything, I'm I would like to make amends for that. And so whatever that is in me that shows up as money problems, shows up as problems with my mother, problems with anything, I love you. So you're saying, I love you to those memories for which you're not even aware that has caused abuse to the resources called parents, resources called the earth, resources called money. So the idea is to get friendly with money. And the cleaning helps you to get friendly. You actually fall in love with money, fall in love in a sense that you treat it as something with you would be really gracious. So if I spend anything, I always say to the money, I thank you. I really am grateful that you have given me this opportunity to pay for this. Without your presence, I couldn't buy this. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I think being gracious, having gratitude, being able to talk to the money and being able to apologize, these are all kind of ways that one would work with money, or work with anything.
I think with the money, it's also a lot of comes from trust, of trusting. We always think that is, see to believe, but it's really believe to see, because the idea is that when you let go and you trust, amazing, the money always comes. And like Aliakala says, you talk to money, they say money talks, huh? And
yeah.
It really, it brings you more friends. It will say, they treat you well there in Chicago, go, So when we go into the fear of, when we are paying, instead of saying, oh, thank you that you are here, like Aliakala says, is being willing that when we feel the fear, just do it anyway and just say thank you, thank you, thank you. And because knowing that more is coming from where it came, from that one came. And the other thing I think with money is love. You have to learn to love money, to respect it, like Aliakala says, and you also have to do what you love, your passion, and then the money always comes. Sometimes it doesn't come from where you expected, but it comes. The universe is waiting for you to take that first step, that it will be right there to support you and to give you anything you need.
It's interesting. I was somebody in one of the classes came up to me and said that she was having trouble selling a particular property. I said, one of the problems with realtors is that they're coming from profit, And I said, when you handle earth, nobody owns the earth. I can't imagine. It's a kind of a mindset that has gotten us into trouble. So nobody owns the earth, but you have to say to this piece of property, listen, you know what is right for you. You would know the right tenants. You would know. So I'm going to make amends with you. Instead of coming from, I'm here to make money off of you, I'm going to say to you, I'm sorry about that. And if I clean, then you'll be fine, and then you will find the right buyers, and the right buyers will be the people who will love you, as opposed to people who are going to buy you for a profit. I said, and sure enough, I think a week later the property got sold, and she said it came out of nowhere. And I said, well, when you love something, it'll find its place,
And everything comes back, multiplied.
Yeah. She learned how to be gracious. You have to be gracious to everything. I keep telling the people in Japan, if you're gracious, you cannot believe what graciousness will do. It will multiply your experiences of creation. You'll be awed by just a floating leaf, one drop of dewdrops on a piece of grass. You'll be moved by it, and so the idea is to be gracious.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you. Now, I'm going to open up the lines. Begin to open up the lines. So I will give your first 6 digits of your number twice and ask you if you have a question or comment. If I don't hear anything, I will move on to the next one. So if you have put yourself on mute, please take yourself off